Worth pointing out that the Supreme Court today ruled that the Trump administration can proceed with dismantling the Department of Education. And honestly, I don't have any idea how much damage that will do, but I know it will be substantial. A lot of funding is derived from the federal government. A lot of that funding is designed to go to kids with special needs, who, need extra help reading, or who, need mobility accommodations, etc., specialized tutoring. And it's bad. So I need to read up more about what the ramifications are, but it's going to be bad. They're effectively going to gut or destroy the agency that sets policy agenda for U.S. schools. Yeah, and I mean, it's not surprising that Trump would do this, especially given his hatred for, accessibility accommodations and disabled people in general. But it's also a way to attempt to strong arm a pro-conservative agenda into classrooms. That is a big part of it too. I would hazard a guess that best case scenario, the funding continues to flow, which not very likely, but we don't really know what the ramifications for this are yet. So best case scenario, funding continues to flow while micromanaging of what books are available at school libraries happens, or what is on the agenda, what is on the boilerplate curriculum. This is going to be a huge problem for rural schools. Well, yeah, it might result that slashing of funds might result in school closures. It might result in some truly heinous things going on. One of the things that should be additionally concerning about this story is that, taken in conjunction with the bill, the budget bill that just got passed, there's a provision in that allows for donations to private educational institutions to be 100% written off. And that's insane. There's literally no other type of provision for tax incentives or tax write-offs that exists remotely like that. And my guess is that there is going to be both a surge in funding for private school vouchers, closure of rural public schools, and or just kneecapping of those schools, and an influx of students into private institutions, right? And that's one of the ways I can see this playing out, right? And it's really not great. Really not great. I would also throw out there that as a little bit of hope, maybe a little bit of hopium, is that I talked with my partner about this. She was a teacher for a very long time, and her take on this was essentially that this might be one of those pain points where their inept handling and dissolution of the Department of Education, or attempt to do that, could result in being kind of like the stick that broke the camel's back, or the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess, insofar as working people in America rely on schools for childcare. If you start closing down rural schools, or schools in cities that are just poor, if you start moving resources around in the way that they are intending to, which will, by the way, again, disproportionately affect Black and brown kids. It's a white supremacist agenda, right?
In a stunning 5-4 decision today, the Supreme Court has sided with the Trump administration's reclassification of children with IEPs as useless eaters, and his Soylent Green, EO.
I mean, that's we're like 2 weeks away from that, really. Polybius, thank you for the $5 dono. So what winds up being something here is that school closures or like teachers striking over these types of changes that are planned to be implemented, that has the potential to effectively shut down the country and get us much closer to a point where an organic general strike were to occur. Because again, if you can't send your kids to school and you're too poor to afford childcare, what ends up happening is that you stay home with your kids. You know, like you can't work. And so that's just kind of that's kind of what's on the docket here. Homeschool. Most people can't homeschool. Most people can't do that. But homeschooling is a secondary concern. It's the primary concern is just making sure there's someone watching your kid who's a competent and responsible adult, you know? Yeah, over 80% of my high school had IEPs. Yeah, and the funding for all of those IEPs is through predominantly the federal government, you know? I'm just spitballing ideas. Well, you don't have to spitball ideas because, like, it's going to be, like, whatever working parents can do, you know? It's going to be like, oh, can my, like, comatose grandma watch him? Okay, cool. Can my friend watch him while
The conservatives have always detested public education. Ang Lee's film Ride with the Devil covers this well. The raiders targeted the school in Lawrence, Kansas first.
Yep, absolutely. They view it as an imposition on their children to learn. What's an IEP? An individual educational program. I believe, I might be wrong on the exact acronym, but basically it's an individualized plan for a student to achieve academic success. It's basically like, oh, this kid is falling behind on reading. Let's make sure that in some of the downtime, they're pulled aside specifically by someone who specializes in helping kids with reading to get them up to like the reading level of their peers. Individual education plan. Cool. There we go. Nailed it. Also, let's be frank here. Not everyone can homeschool because some people who manage to become adults are morons and are not capable of educating their children in every single field. And I think a lot of people know that. Like, I'm an adult. I'm not equipped to teach like a full curriculum to a child. Are you kidding me? Like, I can't do that. I have a very specific set of skills. I can talk to a child about the political problems besetting us from all sides, but I don't think, like, if like a kid is like 10, I don't know that they need to know about fascist policy, you know? Like, teachers get master's degrees in how to do this. Teach them about streamer dramas. Ah, yes, the Homer of their time. I could teach him Pokemon School. And this is a Poliwhirl, kids. Now you have to look out for that tail whip. And be careful. If you encounter a trainer once with a Poliwhirl, they may later turn up with a Poliwrath. Now that could really wreck your day. Here's how you counter that. Remember, water beats fire. Poliwhirl ain't got no tail. Might inherit the skill from being a Poliwag. Doduo don't got wings, can still fly. Anyway, that's what's going on in legal territory. Also, just, you know, in case you're wondering what's going on in the Trump DOJ, well, they're getting screwed over by massive rates of turnover. 69 out of the 110 lawyers for the federal programs branch of the DOJ have quit their jobs. There's only 41 left. Like, holy shit. Let's get that number down to 0. Let's see if we can just get every single lawyer for the DOJ to quit. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. It is always worth mentioning that the modern conservative movement is dedicated to the rise of white supremacy. It's just the South will rise again shit for a new generation, and it sucks ass, and we need to fight it tooth and nail. Also, just I know this doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but you know, Canada really hates us right now, like a lot. And I don't know how many of you guys have checked in with Canada lately, but the Canadians are really angry at us, like a lot. We're like basically the only enemy and the only concern on top of like what's happening, because you know we threatened to invade their country. Donald Trump threatened to invade Canada, and that is an existential threat coming coming from a global superpower with nuclear weapons and the largest military on Earth. Like, that is a huge threat. And so a lot of Canadians are pissed as fuck. And it's going to take like an entire multiple generation long effort to rebuild those ties. Because, like, for example, electing a moron like Trump once, shame on you guys. And by you guys, I mean conservatives. But I feel like that can be like forgiven. But we elected him twice. I don't know that like it's gonna like we're gonna repair this relationship anytime soon. You know, they have apps now that like scan whether or not a product is made in America. And if it is made in America, people just don't buy it in Canada anymore. Anyway, Canadians, I'm really sorry. I've been doing my best down here, but the forces of the moron are very strong. And again, it's all related to projecting power and wanting totalitarian control. This is why Donald Trump wants to, you know, break down the Department of Education. This is why, you know, lawyers are leaving in droves from the Department of Justice, because they're being asked to do things that are blatantly against like the very concept of what America is supposed to be. And when you look at like what is happening with Canada, it's a desire to project power and strength. That's all it is. From, you know, the president of the United States. And yeah, sure, like he's probably hoping like in the back of his mind, maybe they'll just allow me to annex Canada. And like that, again, he's a moron, right? But this might be one of the more insidious aspects of the white supremacist plot that is currently engulfing the entire United States. And I'm going to point here now to Mark Andreessen here. This is Mark Andreessen. For those of you who don't know who Mark Andreessen is, he's famous for having a very cone-shaped head. Here, let me throw up a picture of him. Mark Andreessen, like he's literal conehead man. To a degree that's frankly odd. You know, like that. Yeah, that's. He's literally Dr. Robotnik. Anyway, here he is, just going on a rant, and let me read it to you. I was born in 1971 in Iowa and grew up in Wisconsin. My cohort of citizens was told that we had to put up with this as a cost of prior American bigotry, even though the discrimination was now aimed at us. And for the most part, we did. But then the insanity of the last 8 years, and in particular the summer of 2020, totally shredded that complacency. So now my people are furious and not going to take it anymore. The universities are at ground zero of the counterattack, since they are both actively discriminating against us and primary origin points and propagation vectors for this worldview and these policies. They declared war on 70% of the country, and now they are going to pay the price. Now, what is he talking about here? Well, he's talking about his people, white people. He's talking about white people being discriminated against, and how he's put up with it for so long, but now he can't stand it anymore. He can't stand it anymore. You don't know who this is? You guys don't know who this is? Oh, well, he's a billionaire Silicon Valley guy. He's one of those guys who hangs out with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. He's one of these techno-fascists who listens to Balaji Srinivasan or like Curtis Yarvin. He's one of those guys, except that like he in particular has gone a lot more mask off than some of the other ones. A lot of them are going absolutely apoplectic about Zoran Mamdani, right? Mark Andreessen is just over here being like, they declared war on us whites. And like, that's what he means. When he says like they declared war on 70% of the country, he's talking about the minorities declared war on white people. That's what this is literally Ku Klux Klan shit. Okay, this is Ku Klux Klan shit. My cohort in Iowa and Wisconsin, we just had to put up with all these black and brown people around us as a cost for prior American bigotry, even though we were the ones truly being discriminated against. He's saying like the whole reverse racism thing and like trying to essentially be like the poor discriminated against whites. We've had it. Now we're going to do something about it. And that's why we're attacking universities. Yeah, his head is shaped suspiciously like a Klan hood. I agree. But yeah, he's famous for creating stuff like Mosaic and Netscape. He's a tech guy. He's been around for a while. Yeah, look, guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. Did you guys see that picture of Mark Andreessen? Did you see him? Have you ever seen someone who looks more like a member of a master race? Look at that. Look at the like this is a man clearly obsessed with skull shape. All these people are just absolutely beyond words. Remember when we started stream and I was talking about how like never let like a fascist make you feel like you're lesser than them, because behind every like hateful, bigoted fascist fuck, you've got one of the most embarrassing people you've ever seen in your life. Like if you look at their profile picture, if you look at their Google history, you're finding someone who is just beyond the pale bizarre and cruel and like wild. We've found a family photo from Mark Andreessen's childhood in the great state of Wisconsin. Oh god. Oh fuck. Anyway, literally all of these people are embarrassing as fuck. Humpty Dumpty came back wrong. Yeah, they buried him in the pet cemetery. They come back, but they come back wrong. Holy fuck. Anyway, fuck this fascist movement. They're gonna make our lives a living hell, but we are going to meet the moment. I believe that.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat.